What if the gods of ancient Egypt were more than myths? What if they were symbols of power, protection, and the eternal battle between order and chaos? Now imagine a god with the eyes of the sun and moon, a falcon soaring high above the Nile, a warrior born of resurrection, raised in secret, and destined to reclaim the throne of the gods. This is the legend of Horus, god of kingship, healing, protection, the sun, and the sky. Join me as we dive deep into one of the most captivating stories of ancient mythology and discover why Horus wasn't just a god. He was the soul of a civilization. To the ancient Egyptians, the world was a sacred balance between the seen and unseen, the living and the dead. Their gods weren't distant deities. They were part of every sunrise, every harvest, every breath. And among these gods, Horus was supreme. He wasn't just worshipped, he was embodied. Every pharaoh, from the Old Kingdom to the end of Egyptian rule, was seen as Horus in human form. His eye adorned amulets, tombs, and temples. His wings protected the skies. His story was etched into stone across an empire. But Horus didn't begin as a king. His tale is one of tragedy, vengeance, and triumph. A mythic journey that echoed through Egyptian history for over 3,000 years. The ancient Egyptians were obsessed with the afterlife. Death wasn't an ending, it was a doorway to a treacherous journey through the underworld, filled with demons, trials, and cosmic judgment. For ordinary people, this meant prayers, mummification, and sacred texts. But for kings, it meant something more. Kingship in Egypt wasn't just political, it was divine. Pharaohs were believed to rule by the will of the gods, specifically as incarnations of Horus. But why Horus? Because Horus was the one god who had truly defeated death, and not just for himself, but for the entire kingdom. His myth gave meaning to the pharaoh's crown, legitimacy to their reign, and hope to their people. Without Horus, the throne had no divine protector, and the afterlife had no guardian of justice. Horus's story begins with his parents, Osiris and Isis. Osiris was the god of the underworld, a wise and just ruler. But he was betrayed by his brother Set, the god of chaos, who murdered him and scattered his body across Egypt. In one of the most powerful tales in mythology, Isis, Osiris's devoted wife, searched tirelessly, reassembled his body, and through a magical ritual, conceived Horus. Horus was born in secret, in the marshes of the Nile Delta. Raised in hiding by Isis, he learned wisdom from Thoth, magic from his mother, and strength from the gods themselves. But his childhood was overshadowed by a single purpose: vengeance. Set had stolen the throne. Horus would reclaim it. As Horus grew, so did his power. He wasn't just a prince, he was a symbol. The falcon, fast and sharp-eyed, soaring above both land and sky. The Eye of Horus, representing healing, sacrifice, and protection. The double crown, uniting Upper and Lower Egypt, signifying rightful kingship. The Ankh, symbol of eternal life, often held in his talons. And most importantly, Horus became a bridge between gods and men, sky and earth, life and death. When Horus came of age, he didn't simply attack Set. He demanded a trial, a divine court where the gods would decide who should rule Egypt. Presiding over this tribunal was Ra, the sun god. The case lasted 80 years, with both Horus and Set making their claims. But the gods couldn't agree. So Horus and Set battled, not just with words, but with weapons, transformations, and magic. They fought in the sky as animals, in the Nile as hippos, and even in the underworld. One of the most famous battles ended with Set gouging out Horus's left eye. That eye, the lunar eye, was later restored by Thoth, the god of wisdom. It became a symbol of healing, of rebirth, and of restoration. This is the legendary Eye of Horus, or Wedjat, still used today as a protective charm. Eventually, Horus won. The gods declared him the rightful heir of Osiris. Set, though not killed, was exiled to the desert, where chaos and storms still reign. With Horus's victory, Egypt found cosmic order. He was crowned king, and with that coronation, every pharaoh who followed would wear the title, the Living Horus. His rule represented the ultimate triumph of Ma'at, the Egyptian concept of truth, harmony, and justice over Isfet, or chaos. Temples to Horus were built across Egypt, with the most magnificent being the Temple of Edfu, one of the best preserved in the world. Inside, its walls tell Horus's full story, from his birth and secret childhood to his final triumph. Priests reenacted his battle with Set in ceremonial rituals. His eye was painted on coffins, carved into amulets, and even used as mathematical notation. The Eye of Horus represented fractions in their writing system, each part of the eye denoting a division of measurement. His influence reached into medicine, astronomy, art, and beyond. Even outside of Egypt, Horus lived on. In Greco-Roman times, Horus was fused with Apollo. In esoteric traditions, the Eye of Horus became the all-seeing eye, symbolizing enlightenment. In modern culture, he appears in films, video games, and jewelry. But beneath all the modern layers, the ancient message remains: protection, justice, vision, kingship. Horus is more than a myth. He is the eternal falcon, the watchful eye, the avenger of wrongs, and the guardian of truth. He connects the heavens and the earth, the living and the dead. And for the ancient Egyptians, he was the assurance that justice would triumph, and that life, no matter how dark, would rise again with the dawn. His story, like the sun he represents, never truly sets. So, what do you think? Was Horus a god of divine destiny or a symbol of royal propaganda? What part of his story stood out to you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you enjoyed this journey into Egyptian mythology, don't miss our next video on the next magical deity whose power shaped the very soul of Egypt. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an ancient secret brought back to life. Thanks for watching, and until next time, may the Eye of Horus watch over you.